Shalom Akim, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Dollar learners to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, doing the work in truth and sincerity. Before we get started with these videos, I want to read this from Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. The woes are talking about the world wars. First World War is already passed. The Second World War is already passed. And behold, the Third World War is coming quickly. And these are a couple of articles that I came across that happened recently within the last few weeks. And I'm going to play this one.
If it's a political story, where the Kremlin has labeled the United States as an enemy, reportedly for the first time. The remark was made by Vladimir Putin's press secretary, Dmitry Peskov. Until now, neither Putin nor the Kremlin had ever referred to the United States as an enemy of Russia. During a press briefing, Peskov said, quote, "We are now an enemy country for them, just as they are for us," end quote. Now, this was in response to a claim made by a former American intelligence officer who was recently barred from traveling to Russia and had his passport confiscated by U.S. border officials. Now, the Kremlin's shift in rhetoric comes days after U.S. President Joe Biden allowed Ukraine to strike inside Russia with some American weapons. Latest reports say Ukrainian forces have used U.S. weapons to strike Russian targets inside Russia to defend the Kharkiv region. Now, this has angered Putin even further, who has now warned that Moscow could arm other countries with similar weapons to attack Ukraine's Western allies.
What must we do in response? First of all, we will improve our air defense systems to destroy the missiles. Secondly, we think that if someone thinks it is possible to supply such weapons to a combat zone to strike at our territory and create problems for us, why do we not have the right to supply our weapons of the same class to those regions of the world where there will be strikes on the sensitive facilities of those countries that are doing this against Russia?
So that's that report. So we see Russia is basically ready to do something.
Now, Putin's remarks comes as Russia is expected to send combat vessels into the Caribbean region this summer to participate in naval exercises. This will likely include port calls in Cuba and potential stops in Venezuela. Washington says Russia wants to show that it's still capable of some level of power projection. However, the Biden administration does not view the deployment with alarm since Russia repeatedly sells ships into the Western Hemisphere. But now, with tensions increasing between the two nations over the war in Ukraine, it remains to be seen if Russia's naval drills will become a flashpoint of heightened alarm for the United States. From impeachment to inauguration.
All right. And this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. What name is that? Yahushai. So this is the second video that I wanted to play.
Now to a chilling reminder of the Cuban Missile Crisis 62 years ago. The U.S. is sending resources to monitor a convoy of Russian ships and aircraft in the Caribbean Sea for military drills with Cuba. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin is at the Pentagon tonight.
The Pentagon began monitoring the 4 Russian warships as they crossed the Atlantic and conducted live-fire exercises intended to simulate an attack on enemy ships. Early Wednesday, Russian warships were seen entering the port of Havana. Echoes of the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962, when Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev reached a secret deal with Fidel Castro to place Soviet nuclear missiles 90 miles from Key West, Florida.
That a series of offensive missile sites.
President Kennedy ordered a naval quarantine. It was the closest the two countries had ever come to nuclear war. On Tuesday, Russian warships sailed less than 30 miles off Florida's south coast. Ships from the U.S. Second Fleet, U.S. Fourth Fleet, and U.S. Coast Guard Atlantic area shadowed them. U.S. intelligence assesses there are no nuclear weapons on board these ships, but the Russian flotilla does include the Kazan nuclear-powered submarine. The Pentagon downplayed the provocative exercises in its backyard.
This is not a surprise. We've seen them do these type of port calls before. We, of course, take it seriously, but these exercises don't pose a threat to the United States.
In Moscow, Russia's foreign minister thanked his Cuban counterpart for taking Russia's side in Ukraine.
We are grateful to our Cuban friends for their principled position on the situation around Ukraine. From the very beginning, Havana assessed the ongoing events, outlining absolutely correct.
It's notable that Russia did not send its only aircraft carrier, the Admiral Kuznetsov, to Cuba. It's currently out of service. Also notable that Ukraine has sunk nearly half of Russia's Black Sea fleet in the past 2 years, including a prize submarine. Shannon?
All right, Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon, thank you.
So that's the end of that report. So Putin is basically making good on what he said, as far as he can send missiles to other countries that's against America, close to their borders, to fire on them. So just like this, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, and all these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is the beginning. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So, you know, we can't forget this. You know, if you can't read the whole title, it says, report, Trump wants to bring back hangings and firing squads in his second term. Is thinking about guillotines too. It's gonna happen, because the scriptures do say he beheld the witness of those that were beheaded for his name's sake. So the guillotine thing is a real thing, man. And they also are basically saying that Trump is going to get back in, because somebody got to bring the guillotines in. Somebody got to make this war official. You know, they got Biden as the provoking president, and Trump is going to be the one that's going to bring the war in. He going to fight the war. Destined to lose, of course. But yeah, you got to bring in these guillotines. And there's going to be, basically, we're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, man. The beginning of Jacob's trouble. And it begins with this, man. And with that, I hope you Akim were edified. Till the next time, all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Hashai, Bashim, Kwakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, doing the work in truth and sincerity. Till next time, Shalom.